Well, thank you so much for joining us on Friday afternoon. I know Friday afternoons are very precious for everyone. It's a quiet thinking time, so I'm very delighted to have you all join us today. Today's topic is very much about building products, and obviously we're going to share a little bit of Monday Dev story there. In terms of the agenda, just want to quickly run you through that. So I'll give you a quick introduction to Monday and Monday Dev specifically. Then we will be talking about challenges that we see in the world of product. And for that, I've been joined with Mandar, who I'll quickly introduce you as well, and then share some best practices, how to overcome those challenges, and also show you how you can do that through Monday Dev as well. If you have time, hopefully we will. We'll also take some Q&As as well. So let's jump in. I'll introduce myself first. So I'm Rohini Sharma. I head Monday Dev Go-to-Market in the region. Monday Dev is a new product out of the product suites that we have come up with with monday.com. So I'm going to share a little bit of that story. But before that, I want to introduce you all to Mandar. Mandar's founder and CEO of Product Rocket, a product management consulting company, and also a very proud Monday Dev partner. Mandar, do you want to add a bit more flavor to that introduction?
Yeah, I think you summarized it well. Nice to be here, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Like Rohini said, we've been operating in APAC for the last 5 years. We're essentially product management and design as a service. We've worked with over 50 clients, scale-ups and enterprises to essentially play that product role across product and design and uplift the maturity of organizations as we do. Thanks for having me.
Nice. Thanks, Mandar. So let's begin with a little bit of story about ourselves. So what you can see here is very much a hockey stick figure, as we call it. Monday as an organization has seen phenomenal growth, which you can, this picture is probably a testament to that. But that growth hasn't come with its own challenges. And as you know, building and scaling organization at the same time is a complex undertaking. And while we were building and scaling, we came up with our sort of own challenges around collaboration as we were building product, collaboration within the R&D function, the CRO function, having questions like, what are the right things for us to be working on? What is going to be most effective? What's going to have the most impact? And making sure that we don't lose sight of our overall goals, right? It's very easy for you to get blindsided by what's going on a day-to-day basis and the complexity around that. At the same time, we also wanted to make sure that there is a high level of visibility around what's happening with the roadmap. What are we delivering? How does that sort of ties into our company goals? So with that complexity and that challenge, we actually went to market. We started to identify if there's a product out there that can help us serve our needs and build and really help us scale as an organization. But unfortunately, we couldn't find a product that really suited those requirements. And what this did was that's kind of led to the birth of our product, Monday Dev. So Monday Dev is Monday's product for software product development, being able to do everything end to end, right from ideation through to delivery. It is a unique product for us because, as I said, it's born out of our own needs. It's been very organically developed for Mondays, and we use it every single day. So just to give you a day in a life of what that looks like. So we have about 45 plus Scrum teams. We fondly call them builders. So these are product managers, product designers, engineers, and data analysts sort of coming together. They work in high collaboration with client-facing teams. So there are 800 plus across the globe. We are a global organization, people like myself. And we do 30 plus client-facing releases almost like every month. So that's sort of, the complexity we're working with. And what that really means is that while you're building your feature sets, it needs like a cross-department collaboration. Your sales team need to be part of the cycle. You have CX team, your CS team, all need to sort of like come together, whether it's in terms of feedback, whether it's in terms of training, enablement, and really sort of gaining visibility of how we're evolving and changing our product roadmap. So that's a little bit about Monday and especially our journey with Monday Dev, which is one of the products that we're going to be talking in detail about. But before we get to that, let's chat. Let's talk about what's really happening in the world of product development. And that's where we have Mandar here. So Mandar, as a consultant, you get called into many businesses. You really, get to see things at a deeper level, what's happening, and you're probably able to connect as you worked with multiple clients, so you connect the dots and find what the trends are. So what sort of challenges are you seeing with product development, and what do you see with your clients, that they mainly struggle with?
Yeah, look, great question. I think if I'll share my screen now to sort of show you a slide that would perfectly summarize this. You can see my slides. Is that right, Rohini?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Just checking. Look, in fact, let's start with this at the with the slide. Product development is incredibly difficult. It's complex. It's often disconnected, and depending on the size of the organization you are, the industry you're in, the life cycle, the stage at which your company is at, some of these complexities, these challenges differ. So having worked with a number of organizations over the years of all shapes and sizes, I hear different challenges. They could be challenges as essentially as impacts or outcomes. Growth could be slowing, disruption could be all around them and highly impacting the business and its operations. Customer sentiment could be waning. Key metrics like new user acquisition, churn, retention could be heading in the opposite directions than what was expected. Revenue could be impacted as a result of that. So all of these impacts are surfaced in those conversations, but often when we really look into that, and this is why the topic of today as a trend is really important, which is product ops. Product ops really helps establish or frame where some of those problems might be coming from. And it could be collaboration, it could be understanding of your market and the dynamic changes and the conditions that it's under. It could be about ineffective processes or just clarity on vision and strategy. So of the results or the impacts of not having an effective product ops as a function in place, we can see that where we need to focus.
Great.
So how can we, I'll continue, how can we overcome these challenges? I think the best place to start really is in what is product operations, which is really just, sort of a cornerstone of what the conversation and the talk is about today. We go in to organizations as essentially product management as a service, but regardless of your organization, whether you have a product ops function, a team or an individual, it essentially can be a role that one individual, a team, or the organization plays. What is product operations when applied? It goes across these key areas, in my opinion. It's really about the optimization of processes, understanding what workflows exist today, what is the friction within those workflows, how to optimize for that, and really to be super efficient from ideas to market. Obviously, not all ideas are good ideas. between ideation and launch, there's validation, there's strategic alignment, there's measures and iteration. But the optimization of that process really just means applying product ops from an end-to-end perspective. Tools really come into play quite early when you talk, and we'll talk about this a little bit later as well, in terms of the product mindset, the product process. Having tools that really support the effectiveness or the optimization of what you're trying to do within the business, which is really across all areas, the creation of value for your business and value for your customers. Tools are a complementary but extremely crucial part of the system. The other thing is data management, and really that essentially means the ability to measure, learn, gain insights from, understand how to make the right decisions, where to play, how to win. And so product ops really focuses on those things. It also focuses on collaboration, communication, and essentially stakeholder communication as well. We'll talk about the whole meeting in the middle a little bit later on as well, but understanding strategically where the business needs to go, the needs of key stakeholders, the levers that they need to pull in order to achieve success, and how you could leverage those to execute are extremely important for when it comes to coordination. And we talk about performance metrics as well, obviously, in understanding where, what measures of success look like, how to track these over financial years, calendar years, quarters, how to understand and stay on track towards those goals, or how to know when to adjust and in which direction, and then continuous improvement. So, and just like we improve on our products through feedback from our customers and internal stakeholders, the processes, the mindsets, the methodologies, the best practices that you as a product ops enabler put in place, there's always room to continuously improve. Our approach has always been, regardless of the organization, the industry, or the size, has been through these, essentially these three pillars: the mindset, the process, and then the tooling, in that particular order. So when we go into an organization, we don't go into it as a bull in a china shop. If you are looking to implement product operations within your business, whether that's a special function or individual role or individuals playing that role, I would recommend this order. Product mindset is really just about getting everybody to think like a product manager. Everybody is essentially a product manager because what we're trying to do is create value. And that really means empathy, understanding your customers, almost obsessing about them. When we talk about customer centricity, it's truly deep in terms of how much you can understand or how much you get to know about your customers. It's about fostering innovation, continuous learning, the ability to measure, to drive those decision making. It's about understanding values, representing your business and your customer. So thinking like a product manager is really sort of the first step into implementing effective product operations. Secondly, it's the process. So once you align the mind or the mindset of the individuals and the teams and the organization, and then it's about putting the right things into place. It's about establishing and refining your existing workflows to improve efficiency, to improve collaboration. Those processes really need to be flexible. They need to be iterative. They need to be data-driven. They need to be able to adapt quickly to the changing needs and conditions of your business and the volatile, often volatile conditions it's surrounded by. Because we all know, no matter what process you put in place, if it's rigid and it can't adapt and can't flex, you often get into a place where it becomes redundant, because around us, regardless of the organization or the business you're in, technology changes, the economic conditions change, your customer sentiment needs change, and your processes should be able to flex and reflect those changes. And then finally, tooling. We're here. We've proudly partnered with Monday and Monday Dev specifically, just due to its effectiveness with product ops and product management. But we partner with a number of organizations across the entire product development process. Tools is one of our biggest value adds as a consultancy. It helps us complement and drive the impact that we have when we go about putting these things into place, mindsets and processes. So really pick the tools that complement the mindset and the process. Now there's plenty, I mean, staying on topic, there's a couple of key things I really wanted to touch on today. We could talk all day about strategy and process, best practices, tooling, for example. But what I wanted to do is essentially combine years of 15 plus years of product management, and 5 of those being in as a consultant, to understand and reflect on some of the things that have been effective. To me, there's no one solution that fits all businesses, but here is represented across 3 slides are things or conversations, things that we've implemented as an organization that have been effective. When we talk about strategy, you'll be familiar with all different types of strategies, whether you're focusing as a business today on disruption of those around you within the market, whether you're focusing on new technology and innovation, whether your strategy is revolving around a pure focus on growth. Honestly, I guess it doesn't matter. Your strategy should evolve, and it really should cater for 2 things. One is that I truly believe there exists a deliberate strategy, one that which the business embarks on in order to understand and effectively implement how you will win, where you decide to play. And as you implement those direct and deliberate actions, you generally realize the success or the failure of your strategy. A strategy alone on a piece of paper, I mean, I personally, in my opinion, you cannot be right or successful. It's only right if it is successful as a strategy. And so often in that process of implementing a deliberate strategy, what happens and what we've seen companies that have implemented this see is that in the process of a deliberate strategy, you start to see indicators, you start to see feedback, you start to see movements from deliberately implementing a specific strategy, the way you could pivot in order to optimize, double down, and accelerate the value that you're trying to bring. An example, for a very famous example, which was Netflix. Initially, they focused on disrupting video rental. We know how very quickly Blockbuster became sort of not even on the radar. They had a clear vision. They executed on that in terms of how they could scale, how they could optimize content, for example. As they really deliberately forged ahead with that strategy, they saw something else emerging. It was more about, and that's through real-time feedback. It was more about creation of content and originals. It was about the ability to stream in different qualities, for example, across different markets, international content. So again, Netflix has pivoted so many times, but focused on deliberate strategy at all times, and then flexing on the strategies that emerge. The other thing I could talk about really when it comes to processes that has worked for me over the years in our business in terms of helping clients has really been this. There's a number of processes that you could implement across the organization, across the entire product development process. One really effective means is the continuous discovery and continuous delivery. Essentially, what you see here represented visually is exactly that. We talk about mindset and process. It's about teams that are responsible for development, gathering, facilitating, and owning this always on mindset of ideas. Doesn't matter who you are within the organization, there are certain people responsible for gathering and triaging and validating the ideas, but everybody has one. And encouraging that across your organization, opening up those channels and creating a structured means to process that at a regular cadence has been helpful to some of the biggest organizations that we've worked with, that we've built case studies on. What this allows companies to do is, yes, absolutely, like constantly validate, stay one step ahead, and create a pipeline of value, not just ideas, but value that never runs out. While you essentially deliver on those ideas, you learn, you iterate, you adapt to market changes, and you fill up the funnel again. So often this gets paired with quarterly planning, with OKRs, with the ability to measure, of course, but there's, some call it dual track agile, continuous delivery, continuous discovery process.
This is a great framework, Madar.
This one, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Look,
yeah.
and as you see in this diagram as well, ideas into funnels, and not all good ideas. Validation really means deciding what to work on and what not to work on. So as that pipeline builds up, everything is an experiment. Really, every product, every feature, every function is an experiment. As long as it's or a bet, you can call it, as long as it's aligned strategically towards your vision and your goals. There is no wrong bet. If you fail in the right direction, you eliminate one option in order to in your path to success. And so understanding where you need to go is incredibly important. Otherwise, you simply end up building on all the ideas in all different directions. You dilute your product, you create gaps in terms of your ability to address your market, your customers and their problems, and it goes pear-shaped. So vision is extremely important as a natural funnel, a natural prioritization order. The one thing I talk about most, so we talked about strategy as an example, process, which I've leaned on from time and time again. If you've heard me talk before, or been in an organization where we've been, which is part of Rocket, there is certainly, you've heard me talk about jobs to be done. It is the single greatest, I guess, tool in the product consulting toolkit that I could think of. The jobs to be done has allowed us to go into organizations and really, I guess, really sort of get back into first principles. We leverage the fact that we're not subject matter experts. We haven't been there for years. We don't intimately understand customers, the tech stack, the business. We approach it with sort of an unbiased outsider view, but we leverage jobs to be done to essentially get back to why they existed in the first place. Almost almost thinking about each and every, regardless of what your business is or what products or services you put out there to market. If you think about it, and I often tell teams this, is nobody really wants to use your products or services, as harsh as that sounds. What they essentially do is they hire them. Sometimes they pay for them, sometimes they don't, but they hire them for a period of time to do something. And that something is a job. And that job might be to relax. It might be to spend more time with the family. That job might to be more effective in making money for themselves. But your tool, your product or your service essentially gets in the way. And if it gets in the way in a means that it adds value to the job that they're trying to do, then your customers will continue to employ or hire your product or service in order to get that job done. Thinking about it with this level, this sort of basic level, has helped us, client side, to really uncover opportunities, really diversify the product portfolio, really diversify the revenue opportunities, and get back into customer problems that essentially we can build on for solution and market fit. Yeah, I think, look, there's not too much else I could say on this. If you do want to read up more on this, there is a real structured way to implement, understand jobs to be done. Everybody goes through the same decisioning process. There's multiple steps along the way that you can map out and overlay in terms of your own products at your organization. So really effective as a process, really effective as a customer interview technique. I'd really encourage you to look into this. And then finally, so we talked about strategy, process, framework, and tooling. Tooling, again, last but not least, it's complementary, regardless of what strategy, whether it's deliberate or emerging, regardless of which processes, not just which, but how many. Um, and what best practices, what methodologies. The tooling has to be there to support that. It plays a complementary role. Often in the world of product management, product ownership, product leadership, we're faced with a, I guess, buffet of tools. Whether it's customer interviews, whether it's prioritization, whether it's collaboration and communication, um, all those different channels which we really need to leverage to get the insights, to make the right decisions, really need to support the effectiveness in us doing so. And so time and time again, I've used every tool under the sun from a product management perspective, but way before we partnered with Monday, I've been slowly drawing to the versatility of Monday Dev. And I'll show that to you in a demo in just a second, just a very quick example of how ideation, prioritization, collaboration, planning really sits within a single suite, and how it really makes our lives easier and adds value to our clients. In summary, really, if product management was Batman, tooling is your Robin. So you cannot be as effective out there battling all of the problems that we've talked about today with all of the tools in your Batman, I guess, arsenal, without having the right counterpart. And choosing whether it's Monday Dev or any other product is extremely important in order for you to be effective, not just in product ops as a function, but in your roles. Okay, we will get to a demo. So can you see this? Can you see the Monday screen? Yeah, cool.
Yes, yeah.
So obviously this is just a demo environment. I've created one that was it's called Rocket Labs. Now, an example of how we were able to, before I get into this sort of demo, is a recent client got us in there for 6 months, for 3 months initially, just to understand where could the opportunities lie in the organization? How do they focus on growth? How can they improve their market positioning? And where might some of those innovative ideas lie, and how they could effectively take them to market? With those things that I talked about, like strategy, jobs to be done, the understanding of the customers, and putting the right processes in place, we used a single product suite within that organization across engineers, across product managers, and designers, UX, UI, to really rapidly go from ideation to market, which is what we first talked about at the beginning. And I'll show you how we did that, how really tooling didn't get in the way, it supported it. In Monday Dev, if you haven't seen it before, as a product manager or a product leader, it's one of the tools I say I keep coming back to. I've used multiple tools within the product management area, but really in a specific example, what it allows me to do with the teams that I consult to is have those conversations, create and collaborate on documents that really anchor to every decision that we're going to make over the year, the quarter. One example is vision statement, and that's a simple document that you can create in a single view across Monday Dev or across the workspace that is created for your organization. You can create multiple PRDs, and you might use other tools for this as well, but it's really showing the capabilities and the scale of what you can do within the suite itself. So you can link out, you can anchor, you can quickly reference the supporting documentation that you need. So you can create vision statements, you can create PRDs, you can map out jobs to be done documents, you can have your synthesis and insights from customer conversations. Any sort of tool, any sort of documentation that you do today can be done inside Monday Dev. The way, and I'll show you a little bit about how some of that process, if you're going to an organization that has very little process, best practices, methods, tooling, or a real lack of product ops as a function, we quickly can say, well, you need to have your documents that anchor you towards a goal. You then need to facilitate, open up, understand your channels, and facilitate a process to collect feedback. Now, one way is, and Monday has a ton of integrations. It could be an integration with Zendesk, with Slack. It could be an integration with any form that you have on your website. But one way that I've used to really channel feedback from internal customers, employees of the organization, is a form that has very simply why this, who for, why now. We talked about the product mindset. I love ideas and feedback. I encourage it all the time, but often they come to me as wish lists. And by allowing or structuring conversation or feedback in a way that they have to put their product management hat on, really gets me from just an idea to one that's has value for me to understand how to triage that. So three very easy questions. What if, out of all the things that you could have asked us as the product team, why this over anything else? What's the importance of it? Put yourself in the shoes of your customer. Maybe it's the business, maybe it's a particular segment, but who will this impact? Who is this problem feature request going to impact? And why now? Out of all the things that we could possibly be doing, or you could be asking or requesting of us as a product team, why this? Like, what's the urgency? So it really helps them think about prioritization. Monday is really good as well, with sort of with visualizing, whether it's a form, whether it's a process in terms of delivery or ideation, to then represent all of the different inputs in a single dashboard. Those dashboards can be then created as views and shared, but in a restricted manner to different stakeholders, executives, stakeholders, or peers as well. This is just one example of how you can visualize very quickly where requests are coming from and then triage. Obviously, it does have a tie-in. So every request has a weight, who has requested it, how often, especially in a B2B organization, the importance of a single customer and their request has weight in the decisioning process. And so you can map out requests to accounts. Now, when you open up the floodgates for requests and you have the ability to triage them in Monday Dev, for example, well, what you can do is really quickly go from understanding what is being asked to perhaps an initiative and representing that. So it goes from request to an unassigned product backlog. That's how I've used it at a client recently. From there, you may have a growth squad, a feature squad, or multiple squads. Those unassigned feature requests that tie into feedback are then created as product initiatives. Just because they exist on a backlog doesn't necessarily mean that they will be done. This provides a means of product teams to prioritize, stack rank, understand relative value, and then decide whether they're going to do it now, do it later, or not do it at all. Once that happens, well, we talked about that cyclical process, the continuous discovery, or chaos and quarterly planning. You go from ideas to requests to a backlog of ideas to quarterly planning. Now, in order to get here, you got to understand or you utilize some amount of prioritization, whether you use RICE or any other framework to help me in your decisioning process. Monday is flexible, Monday Dev, in creating those templates and facilitating that process. So as you can see, went from ideas to backlog to understanding what we'll be doing in the next quarter that will generate value that ties into the accounts and the reasons. Well, it has high impact. So it has this particular initiative has a high reach. It might have a low impact, but we're super confident and it's a quick win. And there you go, top of the board. And again, you can use any sorts of product prioritizations, but this can be set up super quickly. It stays in a single platform, and then it creates and facilitates collaboration. So again, going deeper into that, from ideas to backlog to prioritization to planning, you can then map out what you do quarter on quarter to OKRs, your objectives, your company goals, whether they set financial year or otherwise. Well, you can actually say for each of these initiatives that we've got feedback on, we've prioritized and validated, here's how we're tracking them to key company metrics. Now, that could be about satisfaction, it could be about revenue, it could be about market reach. But what it allows you to do is facilitate all of these things in a single a platform, and then communicate that out through dashboards and reports. So I hope, I mean, this is really just this is such a small section of what it can do. It's super flexible. It can facilitate through templates or otherwise all of the processes and the mindset that you're trying to implement.
Yeah. So Mandar, this has kind of become your go-to tools when you face with those challenges with the customer, with your
Yeah,
clients?
absolutely, and naturally so. We're pretty agnostic as a product management consultancy. We're tool agnostic. Whoever we face with the client side, we focus on the problems, and we look at utilizing any number of tools. I just happened to gravitate towards Monday Dev on more occasions than I have to anybody else.
That's really good to hear. Okay, so we're short of time, Mandar. Let's probably jump into some questions, but very quickly, what would be your key takeaways for the audience
Yeah,
in 1 minute?
This is about product operations. Whether it exists as a function today in your organization or not, understand it's a role that you should play. Optimize, improve efficiency, focus on those key areas, and I'll share the slides as well. And yeah, hopefully, you'll see the results.
Nice. All right. Thank you, folks. Thanks for your time. Here are our details. Mine is Rohini at monday.com, and ours at product.com. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to learn more in terms of your challenges, what you're facing. Do have a couple of minutes for Q&A if you like to pop in some questions. I have one question coming in. So I think, Mandar, a question for you. When's the best time to evaluate tooling?
As soon as as soon as you need it, really. I mean, every across the entire product process, you're looking for customer feedback. You need supporting tooling, not just to conduct the interviews, but to synthesize those learnings, gain those insights, and tie them into a process. So yeah, when you're trying to validate the market, introduce a new idea, prioritize those solutions, deliver them, measure them, and then iterate on them. Every one of those stages needs a supporting tool.
Awesome. And then I think I have one more question we can take. The other question is, I just realized that I've pulled in my layout, so people won't be able to see you. Let me just stop sharing. Okay. One last question then that we have from someone. How do you validate product strategy before you actually sort of begin to execute on it, like go really deeper into it?
Yeah, I mean, it is controversial, but it's only a good strategy if it yields the outcomes that you expect from it. So it's not good as a piece of paper. With intending to apply a strategy is you just it's a bet. Good strategy evolves or is created from understanding all the levers that we talked about: your economic conditions, your competitive landscape, how you're positioned within that, where you want to focus deliberately, whether it's growth or innovation or disruption. So the understanding of the levers you need to pull, where you need to play, and how you're going to win, that is the right way to form a strategy. But unless it yields the results, you can't say it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mandar. Thanks for sharing those insights. Super helpful. Folks, that's it for us today. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Yo.